Well, it's 2 days into the new year, and we have to unfortunately talk about, even though it is after midnight now, or the second day. I've got to talk about the absolute failure of the New York City media covering news the past couple of days. All right, and actually, News12's been doing a better job than they have. For 7. And a lot of the others are all over the New Year's celebrations and now about Mamdani getting inaugurated. Look at this. Almost 12 minutes of coverage on Channel 7 this evening for Zohran Mamdani's inauguration in the city, which is an excessive amount of coverage. It really is. I'm not even going to play it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It shows just who these stations gear to, all right? And meanwhile, we have things going on that are affecting people with the crime in New York City and a huge fire that should have been their top story. But they only gave it 50 seconds, this fire. So after sitting through 12 minutes of news, just to refresh this here, you're only going to get 50 seconds.
A raging fire at a construction and flooring materials warehouse in Union County, New Jersey tonight has authorities
on this huge fire in Roselle Park. All right. So you can see you get a really huge fire here. It's an industrial fire. There's a lot of chemicals. The air quality is going to be impacted. This is affecting a lot of people in that particular part of New Jersey. Should be your top story, Channel 7. Not Mamdani. All right. Luckily, News 12, New Jersey, spent almost 4 minutes covering this.
News 12 tonight, I'm Cmmon. We have an update from Roselle Park.
So this is an industrial fire.
Battling a large fire, have been all evening. Some homes evacuated, other residents being asked to stay home if they can. Let's get you right out to News 12 New Jersey's Adriana Daniel at that scene. Adriana?
So this is a big fire.
Kurt, crews have been here on
air quality
Valley
as
Road
well
for hours trying to take down the flames at a building fire but behind us. If you take a look at the scene right now here at 10 o'clock at night,
it's a flooring
it looks
very
different than it did hours earlier. We have a lot less
Luckily, it looks like they've got it under control
and a lot
now.
less fire trucks and EMS material coming around, but they're still working on clearing out this fire. There's still a light lingering smell of smoke and sulfur in the air in comparison to earlier where it was pungent. Take a look at this drone
this
video
is what it looked like earlier. Look at that.
This evening.
How can that not be your top
black
story, New
smoke
York City media?
As firefighters tried to take down the red-hot flame. People we spoke to told us the fire just kept getting larger and larger. And as we were on scene in the hours after the fire, you could follow the smoke like a chimney leading us
Look
to
at
the
that.
building.
Wow, look at those
Roselle
explosions.
Park Mayor Joseph Signorello Jr. told us crews were dispatched around 4:45. No one was injured, but when we last spoke to him around 8 p.m., he informed us the fire was not under control and 50% of the building was still on fire, but there is a fire door holding back some of the fire.
So this is a huge complex here.
A lot of black smoke. There was a lot of explosions in the beginning. Could have been propane tanks, resins. They're a flooring company, oils.
Yeah, a lot of chemicals and stuff.
But
so
we made sure everybody was safe. We did a perimeter to make sure there was no, the walls don't collapse. Again, everybody goes home, be safe.
The building is in a residential neighborhood, and Signorello tells me that a few houses were evacuated out of precaution.
Yeah.
They wanted to ensure none of the other buildings
That
would
is
catch
bad.
on fire
That
as
is
embers
really
were
bad.
floating around the air.
This is affecting a lot of people.
One homeowner telling
right?
us his tenants were part of the group evacuated. They called him right away to say the strange smell was in the air, and soon after that, fire
You notice there's also
erupted.
power lines?
I mean, I'm more worried about my tenant safety more than anything else. I mean, obviously, you know, it's a chemical building. You know, I don't want everybody to go away and God forbid something happens later. The house is replaceable. You know, I have insurance. I don't care about the house. I'm worried about my tenants. So they're safe, they're good, and, you know, it is what it is.
It started out small and literally within a matter of minutes.
This is the kind of coverage Channel 7 should have been.
Seeing like flames shoot up out of the roof. And I was talking to another couple, and in the midst of the conversation, we were about 2 or 3 loud explosions. And then that's when it was time to go at that point.
As Ray and I were speaking earlier, the street lights actually went out and the power was knocked out in the area. While speaking to the mayor, he told me the fire actually led to the transformer blowing and removing power from most of the area. He then went out to go check on his son at home. And when we caught up with Ray again later this evening, he told me that his son was hiding under the covers after all of this traumatic event here in the area. Reporting in Roselle Park, I'm Adriana Daniel, News 12, New Jersey.
Now, that's what I call a proper story. And this is affecting a number of PSEG, about 560 customers in this area, PSE&G of Roselle Park here, which is west of Elizabeth. So you can see the smoke kind of maybe drift over Newark Airport. I'm wondering if it impacted them at all. I guess we could look at some observations and see. And this is, like I said, a big fire. Should be a big story for New York City media. But once again, the city media only cares about the city and the political news because New York City media gears to, well, you know who it gears to. Let's see if this impacted the visibility in Newark Airport at all. And see, looks like they were reporting some light snow, but I don't see any visibility or haze being noted here. So, but this is a big fire, all right? And there are other things going on that happened too as well here on Long Island. This is another story that the New York City media failed to cover once again. New York City media is a joke. You know, I've been on here and I've criticized News 12 plenty, but I'll tell you, the kind of stuff I'm seeing coming out of the major broadcast networks in the city, like Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, it really makes News 12 look good. You know, I mean, they were all over the New Year's yesterday. I mean, that's all they're talking about. What about the crime? What about what everybody else goes through? New York City media, broadcast media, gears to the snobs.
About a police investigation in Newcastle.
I think News 12 is pretty good compared to them.
We now know a man has died following an early morning shooting. News 12's Jeremy Skiba.
That wasn't covered on the New York City media at all either.
You're afraid even in your own house nowadays. You can't even live in your own house without thinking of being shot.
Nassau County police say around 2 a.m., officers were called to a home on Railroad Avenue for a report of a person shot. Nestle Altine was getting home from a New Year's Eve celebration around the same time.
Not a safe area.
You know, people yelling at the house over there. And then I heard some gunshots, and I see lots of, you know, cop cars and 3 ambulances, cops all over the, over the neighborhood looking for somebody.
Police say a 40-year-old man was shot and taken to a local hospital where he later died from his injuries.
To hear something like this is very troublesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's very scary.
On Thursday afternoon, multiple police cars, ambulances, and an armored vehicle could be seen outside the home between Siegel and Sheridan Streets. Officers and investigators could be seen going in and out of the house. A frightening start to 2026. For some neighbors.
What a way to start the new year.
Police say the investigation is still ongoing. In Newcastle, Nassau County, Jeremy Skiba, News 12.
So, yeah, News 12 covered that. So, here you go. Channel 7 didn't cover that at all. No. What about Channel 4? No, all about Mamdani. I don't see. Are there any stories about crime at all? They don't even have any. I mean, okay, they have this. Tourist stabbed in an unprovoked attack at Bryant Park. All right, they did cover this. This was yesterday. So they did at least cover this. I'll give them credit for that. But that was at 8:53 in the morning. They covered this. So 8:53 in the morning, they covered that. Yes, actually, a couple of days ago, actually. And then it gets just forgotten about, right? This one, barely covered as well. Man, 72 shoved into moving train at Yankee Stadium. What's up? Crime on the subway again. Of course, the media wants to pretend it's all hunky-dory, right? It's going to get so much worse when Mamdani gets in. They're in denial. They're in this complete denial. The crime is a serious problem, and that should be, your main thing you got to talk about here, right? So we go to NBC. Let's go to ABC 7 here. I'll go to their thing. What are they talking about? Mamdani again. I mean, 11 minutes. I'm already sick of hearing about this guy. I mean, it's political. It's politics. It's business. It's fluff. because it's geared to snobs. It's not geared to the regular people like you and me who have to worry about crime and our quality of life. These stations don't care. What about CBS New York? Are they the same thing again? Yeah, of course, politics. And they put that up there. Looks like you're using an ad blocker. I'll fix it next time. I mean, look at this. I mean, seriously. How many stories on this? It's ridiculous. It's so obvious. They're just geared to the snobs. They don't care about people. They don't care. Well, maybe Fox 5 will be better. Fox 5 New York. Maybe they'll be better. Let's see. Nope. I mean, how many stories on Mamdani? This is ridiculous. 5 stories on him? I mean, seriously? Bull drop? I mean, this is just geared to snobs. Whatever happened to covering stuff like crime, fire, stuff that affects regular people? I mean, the New York City media is a joke. So, yeah, News 12 is looking pretty good, actually. To be honest with you, it is. Go to News 12 New Jersey. They're covering fire. They're covering stuff that affects people for the most part. There's one fluff story, but for the most part, they got crime here. And what about New York, News 12 Long Island? What about them? Let's see. Oh, covering a fire. Yeah, they're covering more stuff. Their lead story is actually about crime. We want to hear about crime. We don't want to hear about politics. We don't want to hear about fluff. We don't want to hear about business. We want to hear about crime and things that affect our quality of life. Because that's what impacts people who live in the real world and not in some privileged bubble. I think I've said what I've had to say here. There is one more here. Tourist stabbed in All right, so there's this one here, which they did cover. A tourist from Canada was stabbed in the leg in an unprovoked attack. All right, this was a couple of days ago. All right, so look at this. Man slashed in neck. Oh, there's another one here. Go to 1010 Windsor. They cover the crime. This is what we want to hear. We don't want to hear about politics. We don't want to hear about... What can I say? I've been through it a million times already. All the major news stations in New York City, you all should be ashamed of yourself. That's it.